'Tis the season for Thanksgiving. And if you're a vegan, you're either hosting a vegan Thanksgiving dinner that's going to be filled with non vegans. There's a good chance of that. Or you're vegan and you're going to somebody else's house where there is going to be an abundance of non vegan foods. Either way, there's going to be a lot of questions, a lot of confusion, and people are going to be like, I just don't know what to do. I don't know the first thing about vegan cooking. I want to take something that they will like, or I don't want to be trapped, but I need some recipes. I need some turkey alternatives. And my gosh, we have just the solution for you today. She is a friend of the show, and she has a brand new book out that tackles all of the world's Thanksgiving problems. The name of the book is Vegan Thanksgiving Dinners and Pies. Oh my, if it isn't the one, the only Audrey Dunham back on the exam room. It is so good to see you again. Happy Thanksgiving.
Oh, thank you so much, Chuck. And likewise, thank you very much for having me back. Always a pleasure.
I'm excited about this book. It is the follow up to your vegan Christmas cookies and cocoa book that was released not too terribly long ago as well. And that has the second edition out as well. But let's start with the Thanksgiving book. Did you come up with the idea to do this because of exactly what it was I was just talking about? Like, I don't know the first thing about vegan cooking. Please help.
100%. Because I have to say, a lot of people, when they go vegan, they have a really hard time around the holidays. I've noticed it's just the toughest because you have all of these recipes that you grew up with, that you love, that you don't want to let go of. And I know this firsthand because I went through it myself. It was really, really challenging. And I figured if I'm going through it, then I bet other people are going through it too. So how about I take all the classics, all the dishes that people know and love, completely veganize them and put them in a book for people so they have a handbook to turn to during the holiday season.
You are truly doing the best job in the entire world right now. My goodness gracious. Let's start with the big one. Okay. Everybody's like, well, turkey is the centerpiece of Thanksgiving at every table across the country, unless it happens to be a vegan table. So if you are celebrating a turkey-free turkey day, what would you recommend serving up instead of the turkey?
Well, I actually have a whole section in the book that has main courses. And it's interesting because I've been vegan for several years now. And at Thanksgiving, I just skip the turkey. My mom and I do all the cooking, and really we would make all the sides and the pies and veganize all of them, and nobody would even notice. Some people might bring something that was non-vegan, other family members, and my dad always made the turkey. So they always had those options for those who wanted them and wanted to enjoy those foods. But for the most part, my mom and I just went for it and did the best we could. And so after years of fine tuning, I was thinking these recipes need to get out there because I bet you a lot of people are going through this. And if they're not vegan themselves, then they might have someone in the family who just went vegan. And in fact, one of the things that I hear the most is, I swear I've heard this exact sentence 20 times already, is, my daughter or my son away at college just went vegan. They're coming home for the holiday and I have no idea what to make. And the first thing they think of is the turkey. How am I going to substitute the turkey? And so for myself, like I said, I just kind of skipped the turkey. It wasn't any big deal. I was super stuffed after Thanksgiving. No problem. Everybody was. But knowing a lot of people want that main course, I created 2 vegan turkey roasts in the book. One that's gluten-free, that is soy-based. It's got the texture of a firm tofu, super yummy, super flavorful with a really nice glaze on top. And then one that tastes almost exactly like it, that is made with the wheat gluten. That is the wheat flour that you can find in the store. It's called Vital Wheat Gluten. And you can easily find it online as well. But that one has a really realistic meat texture to it. So there's 2 options in the book if that's what you're looking for. Both of them have that really awesome, yummy, savory, sweet kind of glaze on top. So you won't miss out either way.
That sounds like it's going to have that nice, hearty, meaty texture to it. But I mean, is that really complicated to make, or is this a little bit easier than people might think?
It's super easy. And in fact,
Love that.
The hardest part maybe is wrapping your mind around how great it's going to be, because it's so simple. Really, really easy. It does take a little bit of time because you have to let it sit, you have to let it steam, let it roast. I think it actually is better if you let it sit in the fridge for a night. And so that's actually kind of a nice thing because you can make it the day before Thanksgiving and then just reheat and apply the glaze the day of. One less thing to do on Thanksgiving Day, right? So, but yeah, it's actually super simple and a little mind blowing because most people haven't even tried it. They'll get some of the fake meats in the grocery store, the tofurkey roast, and give that a shot. And but if you want something that is pretty awesome and fun, and you're going to feel really proud of yourself after you make it, then give one of these 2 recipes a try.
I would imagine also making something at home is going to taste a lot better than anything that you've gotten that's been frozen in the store for who knows how long, right? So fresh, no matter
Exactly.
what you're cooking, is going to be the name of the game.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah.
And I have to say, one of the things that I've noticed over the years, after I met my husband, Jeff, forever ago, 2009, I've been making Thanksgiving dinner ever since for the family. And it's a big job. And organizing yourself is a big part of a successful, delicious Thanksgiving because you want everything to taste really good, be the right temperature, taste fresh. And so what I've done in this book is at the bottom of every recipe, I give a make ahead tip telling you exactly what can be done before Thanksgiving, even if it's just chopping the vegetables, and then how to store them until you need them so that you are more likely to have everything ready to go and look like a total pro on Thanksgiving. And I even give my personal timetable of what I do the week leading up to Thanksgiving. And then the actual Thanksgiving day, hour by hour, I give a little example of what my day looks like and how you can organize your day as well so that you're a host pro.
Man, I'm telling you, you know what? Matter of fact, that's just going to be the mic drop right there. I mean, I don't know where to go from there because if you're giving people tips on how to save time when you're rushing through trying to make everything that morning that you're going to be feasting, it's like, man, what a concept. That is absolutely brilliant. And that
Thanks.
is best-selling material right there, Audrey Dunham. Best-selling
Thanks.
material. Matter of fact,
Thank you.
life-changing. We're going to
You
take it a step
know,
further. I
let me
mean, that
say, the last thing you want is for Thanksgiving to end and you have regrets. You just think, gosh, I know that the mashed potatoes were cold. How could have I prevented that? I bet I could have made this a little bit better if I wasn't rushing and panicked. And then, of course, you want to be a gracious host too. You want to make sure everybody's comfortable and happy, feels welcome, even if it's just your family, people that you see fairly regularly. You want everybody to feel like they are in a comfortable, happy place that's calm and not where you're running around and frantic and people want to help you and you want them to help you, but you don't know how. Anyway, so I've been there and trying to help everybody else so they never have to be there with some of the tips that I provided in the book.
Yeah, so serious question though, when it comes to time, is there really much of a difference between preparing a traditional Thanksgiving dinner versus a vegan one?
Not really, especially in this particular book. Of course, you don't have to deal with the turkey, which was a huge job back in the day when I used to make the turkey. I mean, you'd spend so much time and energy just on that. And then you're like, wait a minute, I have 8 side dishes to make too and 3 pies. And so it was a lot. But otherwise, in my book, I tried to duplicate the traditional versions of these recipes that contain the animal products so that you can't even tell the difference, just swapping out ingredients so that they're veganized versions of the classics. And no one will be able to tell at the table, vegan or not, that they don't contain animal products. So that you can, if that's your goal, to create something that you can enjoy if you're vegan or if you have somebody attending who is, and you don't want to have to make separate dishes for everybody. Gosh, what a pain that is, right? You want everybody to enjoy everything. And so that was the goal with this book, is just make sure that there's a handbook out there for people who want that. They want to be able to create something that everybody can enjoy. And I have to
Yeah.
say too, I know I have a lot of people that request gluten-free. So I have gluten-free versions of almost every recipe in the book at the bottom as well, telling how to make that recipe gluten-free. There's maybe 1 or 2 recipes that don't. I think just one, actually, just the dinner rolls, but I do have gluten-free drop biscuits. I have a gluten-free version for the cornbread and everything else. I have a gluten-free pie crust. So, as well as a traditional pie crust, just so that everybody's covered.
Ah, man, it's something for everyone. Well done. And yeah, you're right though. Like I'm thinking making a vegan or making Thanksgiving dinner at all. I mean, that is That is a laborious chore right there, right? You got to set aside a whole chunk of your day in order to do that, and probably some planning ahead. But then if you're talking about making vegan and then traditional versions of every dish, you're doubling the time. I just don't even see how anybody could possibly do that. So I'm glad that these recipes are plenty good to satisfy everybody.
Right.
Um,
Thanks. Yeah.
we talked about the turkey though, but let's talk about some of the sides, right? So mashed potatoes, I would think something like that, easy enough to make vegan. You probably don't even have to put any effort into making that vegan.
Oh, 100%. It's super easy. Thank goodness we live in a time where there's some incredible vegan butters out there now, non-dairy butters. I give a list of what type of butter I prefer. I give some recommendations as to what types to look for, what type of ingredients should be in the vegan butter for the best results, so that it tastes the best. Yeah, so mashed potatoes, I give 2 different recipes. I have the traditional mashed potatoes and then garlic red skin mashed potatoes for those who like that type. And what's nice too is, I mean, you can make the traditional type on Thanksgiving and then do the garlic red skin mashed potatoes for Christmas or Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate, right? So this book will hopefully be helpful throughout the whole holiday season.
Trey, fancy. Stuffing, you have to have stuffing in there if this is a Thanksgiving recipe book.
Right. Yeah, I have 3 different stuffings in the book. I have the classic herb stuffing, cornbread stuffing, and then one that, okay, so I have to go back a little bit and say, when I first started this book, I went to my Facebook page to ask people what they want. I wanted to create something for everybody else, not just for me, not for something for our family to enjoy, but for everybody else. And so I asked, what are your favorite dishes that you enjoy on Thanksgiving? What would you like to see in this book? And a lot of people mentioned sausage apple stuffing. And I had never had that before, but I thought, gosh, all right, let's give it a try. Let's see what we got. And now it is my favorite. It is the type that I make with the vegan sausage. I'm making it every year from now on. It's just awesome. So flavorful and yummy. And actually there's a picture of it. Let me get the book. So here's the cover.
There it is. Beautiful book. Absolutely. Absolutely.
You. Thanks, Chuck. And that's
I get excited about stuffing.
Yeah.
Hello.
That's it right there. Got some cranberries going on there. If you like that little bite of the tart, a little sweet added. The apple is super subtle, and then you have that savory element from the sausage coming in, and of course those amazing herbs that you always get with stuffing. It just comes together really, really beautifully, and I can't wait to make it for my family this year.
Do you go with the sweeter apple, or do you go with the more tart, like a
Granny Smith?
Granny Smith there, yeah.
Yeah, I went with the Granny Smith for this one. It was nice because with the sweetness from the cranberries, you don't want too much sweet. And it depends on, I have quite a few vegetable dishes in the book as well. Some of them have some sweeter glazes. So you have the balsamic glazed Brussels sprouts. You have the roasted root vegetables with an apple cider glaze. So it's important that you balance the sweetness with the savory at the table. You don't want too much sweet going on because you have dessert coming too, right? And you have the cranberry sauce. So with the stuffing, I didn't want it to be too sweet. So the Granny Smith is a really nice choice for that one.
And you can't go wrong with a good Granny Smith anyway. I mean, it's just such a nice change of pace. It's either going to be a Honeycrisp, a Jazz apple, or a Granny Smith apple in this house. 100%.
We're big fans of Fuji too. That's a good one.
Ooh, the Fuji. The Fuji's good. That may be top 5, but you're not going to get me to waver on my top 3. Can't get me off of the Honeycrisp, Jazz, and Granny Smith. What are some of the more gourmet things that you have in there? I mean, we've talked about a lot of the traditional ones in there, but do you have any that are just going to be like, ooh, wow, that's a little bit different?
Oh gosh. Okay. So if we're talking desserts, there's a caramel apple crumble slab pie, which is perfect for a crowd. We're actually making that. I've already planned out my Christmas Eve menu. Well, for the most part, I'm making that for sure on Christmas Eve. It is giant. It's on a half sheet pan, and you put the crust all along the bottom, fill it all up with that apple goodness, similar to what's in the center of an apple pie. And then you put the crumble topping across the top, the brown sugar, flour, butter kind of yumminess. And then you make a caramel sauce on the side, which is super easy. It's just a couple ingredients in a saucepan. And if you can serve that hot, that's the key. You can actually totally assemble it and then just pop it in the oven a little bit before you're getting ready to serve it. So you can serve it hot, and that is magical. So that one is a big favorite of ours. It's one of those where you eat it every bite and you don't even talk while you're eating it because it's so good. My mouth is watering just talking about it. But so that's in there. That's a fun one. Of course, have the traditional pumpkin pie, classic country apple pie, pecan pie. Pecan pie was an important one for me because I wanted that center to resemble a traditional pecan pie. So I really worked on that one, got that one to as closely resemble the traditional version as possible, without the corn syrup, actually, even. And then as far as gourmet, I really got creative with the mains, I have to say, because beyond the turkey roast, you're like, okay, well, wait a minute. What if somebody doesn't want that? The idea of kind of like a fake meat isn't appetizing or not their top choice. So I have a stuffing stuffed whole roasted cauliflower.
Yo.
Yeah, hang on. I got to show the picture for this one too, because this one is just so pretty. And it's a showstopper, really. I mean, you have this whole roasted cauliflower.
Stuffing stuffed roasted cauliflower. I mean, that in itself, the name intrigues me enough. Look at that. Hold on. Let me drop the name off of the bottom here so people can see this. There we go. Wow. All right. Talk to me about the stuffing stuffed whole roasted cauliflower.
It's a lot simpler than what you think. It sounds complicated, but it's really not. I mean, you start by boiling the entire head of cauliflower so that it's soft and you don't have to keep it in the oven for a crazy amount of time and worrying about overcooking the exterior or anything like that. So boiling it first saves a lot of time in the oven. And then you just mix up what resembles stuffing, just a couple of pieces of bread toasted, mixed with some herbs, a little bit of butter. You got that nutritional yeast in there for that little pop of umami flavored. Got a little salt, pepper, mix that all together. And what you do is you put it into a piping bag and you turn that cauliflower upside down and you squeeze it into the canals in between the florets of the whole cauliflower. And sometimes those cauliflower florets can be really close together. So in that case, you can kind of hollow out carefully with a knife to create your little areas where that stuffing is going to go. And really push it in there. And then you flip it back over, coat the whole cauliflower with this kind of, it resembles Parmesan, like a Parmesan type crust over the surface. You got some nutritional yeast, a little bit of breadcrumbs, some herbs, a little bit of vegan butter. Put that all over the exterior and then you roast it. Turns a golden brown, nice bright yellow brown, really appetizing and beautiful. And it's got the wow factor going on just because it's something so unusual. So yeah, there.
Yeah, and just the ingredients there that you're kind of listing off there, it seems like they're not going to be the kinds of things that are going to put off anybody who is not a vegan themselves. As a matter of fact, I look at that as a way to open the door to the conversation about eating plant-based full time, because you're going to eat something that you ordinarily wouldn't. It's going to be delicious. It's going to just have vegan versions of ingredients that you've been eating your entire life. Exactly. And oh my goodness, the next thing you know, you might have yourself a full-blown vegan in your midst.
Right. Yeah. And I think it's scary for some people to even eat something labeled vegan, even though they eat vegan foods all the time, vegetables and whatnot, or bread. And, but as soon as you put that label on it or you tell somebody it's vegan, that's when they're like, they kind of put that guard up. They're a little nervous about it. They already think in their head it's not going to taste good. So if you have people like that in your family or friends that are coming over for the holidays, don't tell anybody that they're vegan. It's not like you're keeping secrets or trying to pull over the wool over their eyes or anything. You just don't need to mention it, right?
Yep.
And then if somebody asks at the end, or if they ask at any point, you can tell them. But I wouldn't make this announcement or warn anybody like, okay, it's vegan, so I hope it's okay. That's the last thing you want to do. You don't want that. And hopefully with this book and all the other great recipes that are out there now, nobody will even need to make any apologies anyway. We live in a great time. There's some really great recipes out there, whether they're with my book or online. So now it's easier than ever to make the recipes that you need that suit everybody's preferences and needs when it comes to food.
Yeah, true story to that end. This is a couple of years ago, probably 2018, 2019, something like that. My wife and I were shopping for a vegan pumpkin pie. We were going to have some people over. We wanted a vegan pumpkin pie. And we went to this major grocery chain. Everybody knows the name of this chain, but I won't mention it here. And we asked them, and they were like, literally every pumpkin pie that we have out on the floor is vegan. We just don't label it that way because we don't want to scare off a certain, clientele. And we just thought that that was the funniest thing ever. So we we looked at the ingredients, and sure enough, man, they were not shining us on. And that pie was absolutely delicious.
That's mind blowing, since most traditional pumpkin pies call for eggs and evaporated milk, right? So
Yeah.
that's amazing. It's like the people that want that will look at the ingredients and find it, right? For the people who need it.
Yep. And so it wasn't that difficult for you, because it didn't seem like these guys were having a hard time making their pie vegan. It doesn't sound like the swaps that you have in place for this are all that difficult either.
Right. And the pumpkin pie, I have to say on that note, was the most important recipe for me, because just on a personal note, I know after I did the Facebook poll, even I did a whole separate question online asking people, okay, what is your favorite pie? And of course, the majority was pumpkin. That's my personal favorite. That's what I look forward to. And I can taste it leading up to Thanksgiving. And I can't wait. It's like, I just want to go straight to dessert. I just love it. And it's the first thing I have on Friday morning, the day after Thanksgiving. That's my breakfast. So getting that one right was really, really important to me. I made so many pumpkin pies, fine tuning that. And my husband, Jeff, was just, it's like, I think you got it. I'm like, no, I think just a little bit more cinnamon or a little bit more of this. And so that one I'm really, really proud of, because I feel like this is the pumpkin pie that I always hoped for and dreamed of as a vegan myself, that I wanted to exist and finally does now.
The pumpkin pie that you have always hoped and dreamed of. That's when you know it's going to be good. If it's the thing that hopes and dreams are made of, I can't imagine how good that tastes. Oh my goodness gracious. Audrey, how many recipes are in the book here total?
We got about 50 in the book. I include even a homemade vanilla ice cream and whipped cream for the toppings.
Wow.
If you want to wow your guests, tell them that you made your ice cream. Because it's so easy to just go buy a store-bought ice cream, and they usually all taste pretty good, right? Because that's what we're used to. But if you have something that's homemade, it's just got that extra little something special to it, right? And you can have it in a container that's like your homemade ice cream container, and it's so easy to make. It's literally blending some ingredients together and putting them in your ice cream maker. Done. That's it. So I include that one in there. And, I have one more recipe, if you wouldn't mind, that I really want to highlight, because I think
for sure.
it's really something special. And it's my husband, Jeff's absolute favorite recipe in the entire book. So in the main section, I think it's actually the very first recipe, is our mushroom Wellington.
Ooh.
It's become a really popular recipe, not just amongst vegans, vegetarians, but a lot of people seem to really love making a mushroom Wellington at the holidays these days, I've noticed. And so I knew I needed to include that in the book. And that recipe is just really, really special to our family. It's a big, big favorite. Even people who don't like mushrooms, they'll take a bite and they're like, I don't like mushrooms, but wow. And then they keep eating it and then they finish the whole plate. I think the secret there is you have to really mince the mushroom into small pieces in the food processor or finely chop, and taking away that traditional mushroom texture can help with those who don't normally like them. And then mixing it with things like balsamic vinegar, some nice red onion, got the garlic, some water chestnuts for some crunch, which are optional, but I highly recommend. And so that's a special one. I think that is one of our top favorites as well.
Yeah, I remember growing up and my mom would make a beef Wellington many years before I actually went vegan, and I enjoyed that quite a bit. So this sounds like it would be right up my alley too. So I can't wait to dive into that. I think I'm going to give that one a try. That seems awesome to me.
Oh, please let me know what you think.
Oh, 100% will. And I can't let you go without mentioning that even though we are talking about Thanksgiving today, Halloween not that long ago, and I just want to share the picture of the Dunhams here, what you guys did this year. I mean, this is off of at Audrey Dunham on Instagram. You guys, as the Scooby-Doo bunch, you outdid yourselves. Look at that. That is amazing.
Thank you. We have a lot of fun at Halloween. Okay, well, I have a lot of fun at Halloween. My family's nice enough to go along with it. We do a theme every year. Thank you so much. Last year we did a traditional monster theme. I did a throwback. That's from a couple weeks ago. You could see that on Instagram too. And where Jack, the little boy in the front there, is playing Shaggy, who is a mummy, and James, my other twin son, is a vampire, and I was the Bride of Frankenstein, and Jeff was Frankenstein. We do a different theme every year. We have so much fun with it, and yeah, it might get trickier as the years go on to convince these boys to keep dressing up with me, and Jeff too. But so far, they're hanging in there.
Do they know? Do they know who their parents are? I think that this is going to be a lifelong tradition. I hope you don't have any issues with that, because this is just, healing the world right here. I mean, you guys nailed this. I mean, I'm looking at Jeff's blonde wig for Fred, and like, you are the spitting image of Daphne here. It's just incredible, incredible.
Thanks. Well, I have to say, the star of the show here is our little dog Rhodey in my hand. That she's our Velma. That dog, as long as she's warm, she's happy. So with that sweater and that added wig, I didn't know how the wig was going to go, but she seemed more comfortable and happy than ever in that outfit. I think she was warmer than she had been in a while with the cooler weather we had in October in Los Angeles this year. And so she was super happy, and we posted a close-up picture of her as well. And I mean, I had people saying, Rhodey wins Halloween 2021. That's her name, Rhodey. And so yeah, I'm thankful she went along with it as well, because she added a lot.
Oh man, that is just the best. And my goodness, if you're listening to the podcast, scroll down to the episode notes, click on the link to Audrey's Instagram. It'll take you right to that photo. You have to see it. I mean, this is Hollywood magic. That's what that is. Unbelievable. Y'all look like y'all walked right off of a movie set to do that thing. I mean, that just so well done. So well done.
Thank you.
And the book, Vegan Thanksgiving Dinners and Pies, also very, very, very well done. And of course, the second edition, Christmas right around the corner. Just released the second edition of Vegan Christmas Cookies and Cocoa. There it is. See that one? Second edition as well. So go ahead, pick that up. We've got recipes for all seasons now with Audrey Dunham. It is so good to catch up with you. It has been way too long.
Oh, I agree. And it's always an honor, Chuck. So wonderful to sit with you. You're a dear friend of mine. And so catching up on camera and off camera today has been great. And thank you for the kind words. Really appreciate it.
You are most welcome. And you who is watching, you who is listening, my exam roomies, click the link in the show description or the episode notes. Pick up your copy of the books. Audrey Dunham, we'll talk to you again soon.
All right. Sounds great. Thanks, Chuck.
All righty. If your health IQ is a couple of points higher than it was a few minutes ago, go ahead and like this video or subscribe to the YouTube channel. And to take it even higher, head over to Apple Podcast or wherever you get your favorite shows. Look for The Exam Room by the Physicians Committee. Hit the subscribe button there as well and help to make your world a healthier place.